Good evening. I'm Elizabeth George, Chief Membership Officer with the American Guild of Organists. And I'm so delighted that you could be with us tonight when we launch a very, very special guidebook that has been put together with a lot of love to help you promote the organ to a new generation of future generation of young organists. And with me tonight, I have Sue Mitchell-Wallace, who is our chair of the board of regional counselors, Dr. Erin Chesley, who is director of Orgle Kids USA, Vincent Ryan, who's with Orgle Kids Pennsylvania, and Don Mahler, who is the dean of the Nashville chapter, and J.W. Arnold, AGO's marketing and communications specialist. You are muted, but we do want to hear from you. So please do post your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and we will go ahead and at the end of the discussion, we will answer all of your questions, unless I see something pop up right in the middle of the conversation that I think would be really great to answer now. So I'll be monitoring the Q&A. And with that, it's also going to be recorded, as you all know, I hope. And we will be sending this out to you, the link to everyone, within the next 48 hours. So I'm just going to start off by saying that, you know, one of the visions, one of our key components of our strategic plan is that we want to invest in the next generation of organists. And what better way to do this? I mean, the Orgle Kids organ and the STEAM experiments, I mean, they are using technology to introduce the king of instruments to our next generation of young organists and our future members, because it's also a really wonderful recruitment tool. So I'm not going to spend too much more time talking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share our guidebook. And if Erin, if you wouldn't mind kicking it off, I'd love to have you talk a little bit about some funding and fundraising, because you really shared some interesting things that I did not realize. So all you have to do is turn your video on and unmute yourself. There you go.
So do you want to navigate them, show them where people would find?
Yes, that would make sense, would that not? That would make a lot of sense. Okay, here we go. And I'm also going to share with everyone where you can find this on our website, because at the moment it kind of looks like Where's Waldo? So we'll make sure that you all know where to find this wonderful resource.
So it's under education, right? If they go to agoheadquarters.org.
It is. It's also under chapters. It's going to be under a lot of different places until we get our new website.
Okay. Could you scroll back up to you're organizing this by the contents, right?
Yes.
So the table of contents.
Yep.
Okay. So the point of this guidebook is a way of, as you said, reaching out to the next generation within the envelope of STEAM. So science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And the Orgle Kids kit is just a wonderful natural part of that. And so this guidebook, as you can see from the table of contents, you've got to start with funding and fundraising if you're going to get one of these tools for your community and for your chapter. So that's where we're going to go. And as the director of Orgle Kids USA, we're a volunteer group, and our job is to promote these kits and then connect potential buyers, the people commissioning the kits, with the builders. So we've seen a lot of different ways to approach this. So it costs just a little under $10,000, and some chapters, that's nothing. You know, if the big chapters host a convention, they get some aspect of that. They have, you know, certain pools of money for special projects, and it just takes a vote to commission a kit. And in other cases, in fact, I mean, we had to start a nonprofit so we could get one of these kits in the United States, the first kit in the United States. And you can see on this picture in the guidebook, one of the things we did was lemonade stands, literally, to raise funds. So So the whole spectrum of fundraising can work. um, I've seen everything from just a call out to members. I believe one of the chapters, is it San Diego AGO, is currently putting the call out to their members saying, hey, this is a really powerful tool to reach not just the next generation, but all the generations. It's a wonderful way to get the pipe organ out into the community. So, hey, we need this resource. Everyone chip in. Something else that people do, we wrote grants. And in fact, some of our grants were to American Guild of Organists chapters. So the New York City chapter has grants. Boston has a grant. And a lot of the applications they get are for bringing in a performer. So it's a concert. And so when those funds can go to something that isn't just a one-time event, it's very compelling, I think, when they get an application for a long-term piece of equipment that will last a long time and reach, thousands, people beyond a single event. And you can see on this page, there's a list of approaches you can do to raise these funds. What I did also want to offer is Orgle Kids USA is a volunteer nonprofit 501c3. So when there have been individuals or groups or churches raising funds for a kit, Orgle Kids USA has been able to accept donations towards that specific kit on behalf of those organizations or people. We're also set up, we can accept employer matching donations on behalf of somebody. And best yet, we don't charge any fees. The money comes in, we earmark it for your particular organ commission. And when that kit is ready, we just forward it on to the builders. And so that goes towards your overall fundraising effort. So if anyone, you can always add that component to your fundraising, tell people, hey, check and see if your employer matches donations. And if they do, harness it. It's free money. It's how I donate to Orgle Kids USA at the end of every year. We do it through my husband's employer. If we give 200, they give 200, and boom, that's free money. So it's a great mechanism to harness.
We were also talking about, prior to starting the webinar, how Damon Spritzer in Oklahoma has created a wonderful GoFundMe page. And it's just taken off like wildfire. And I believe has already collected about $8,000. So that's another opportunity.
Yes. GoFundMe is a wonderful page for capturing, but she also had to really work it. You can't just make that page and sit back. So I think Dr. Spritzer's found out she really had to push it. She also, her campaign was successful because what that doesn't show is behind the scenes, people donated behind the scenes. She did a letter writing campaign as well. So in addition to having that page that you can point people to, to really harness the power of your social network. She wrote heartfelt letters to her wide social network. And so it takes multiple prongs, multiple techniques. But yeah, GoFundMe has proven successful.
And there's another option as well. There is Title I funding available, which you should research in your area, and you'll find a link to it in this guidebook, as we show here, that will give you money. There may be areas where you are, where your chapter is located, where there are not a lot of arts programs or science programs in schools. And you may be able to get some money to help fund bringing your demonstrations into these schools. So that's also another great way. Anything else anybody wanted to contribute to that regarding funding? Okay, well, let's go on to community outreach. And Don, did you want to talk a little about what you've been doing and how you've been combining how successful your pedals, pipes, and pieces have been?
Yes, I could. In Nashville here, we got our organ kit last June. We've already made use of it in churches, but we have already had 2 pipes, pedals, and pizzas, and we have another one planned in Clarksville in April. And between all 3 of them, we will have reached over 50 kids, 8 years old through 18. So, which we're very excited about because it's going to give us um, a backlog of contacts because we want to follow up with a variety of things. But we reached out through a variety of areas through homeschool. We let some homeschool people know. We there's piano teachers guilds. That's how we found our students who came, and they were very, very excited. And the organ kit, I would say, pretty much every last one spoke about how much fun it was. And it was their favorite part of the whole, outside of pizza, that is, their favorite part of the whole event. But it really spurs the imagination for them, I think. And they got to play the organ. So we're very excited about that. And we feel like now we have a group of kids. We know who they are. We know how to contact them. And we want to plan further events to help draw them in, and their parents who were there they didn't sit back out in the narthex or somewhere else. They were in there sitting there with the kids because they were so interested in themselves, and some even wanted to try to help put it together. So we're wanting to use it in a variety of ways, like this pipes pedals, but it's also for adults. Sunday school classes, organ committees. If they're going to refurbish or put in a new organ, it's a way for people to understand, adults to understand the complexity of organ, how it works. There's just a wide variety of uses for it. Museums. We have a children's science center here. We want to get it in there at one of these things. So we're looking at places that do events for kids, and we're just getting started this year. So that's our hope, is to get a lot of things of these going. So anyway, we're very excited about it. It's been a really positive thing here, and I can't say enough good about it, and how our chapter is very excited about it.
Well, that is so exciting to hear, because I think the last webinar that we all did together, it had just arrived, and you
Yes.
were getting ready for the birth. One of the things on here which is interesting, and Sue Mitchell Wallace, maybe I could ask you to talk a little bit about what we'll be doing with the Music Teachers National Association in just a few weeks.
Well, I'd be happy to. The AGO has very collegial partnerships with a number of music organizations, and one of them is Music Teachers National Association. Their national convention is going to be here in Atlanta the weekend of St. Patrick's Day, and Elizabeth is coming, and we have some local Atlanta chapter members who will be helping to man the booth. And we're very excited. We'll have resources, including the guidebook that you see on your screen. We have some wonderful videos, and we have some handouts. We have a lot of music that people can play on our Orgle Kids kit that belongs to the Atlanta chapter. And as you all know, if you've seen an Orgle Kids kit, there's nothing like looking at it, the magnificent craftsmanship, the attention to detail, and it's very tiny, and when you think of big pipe organs, it's small, it's for little people, but it is very sturdy, and I think that's impressive as well. So we hope to have an opportunity to share this with pianists and piano teachers, and perhaps some church organists who are also at the MTNA convention, and just be missionaries for our whole country. And the other thing that I plan to share when I'm at the booth is the fact that there are so many great activities in this guidebook, this STEAM guidebook, so that you can introduce musical concepts even if you don't have an Oracle Kids kit. And I think this is a great opportunity for children for whom so many school districts have had to reduce the classes in music and the music organizations because of cost and faculty people to cover those positions. But there's still so many things that children can get introduced to as far as the science, the art, the mechanics, and there's nothing to take the place of touching.
Absolutely. Sue, because what has it been, about 6 months or 9 months that the Atlanta chapter has now had an Oracle Kids kit? Do you want to talk a little bit about how you manage it, how you did the training? Because people have to be trained on how to put it together and take it apart and be careful with it and store it.
Yes, we actually formed a committee in Atlanta, and we call ourselves the Oracle Kids Ambassadors. And we have teams of 2 that go out, and we hope to do some projects in the inner city. The Atlanta Symphony is very, very active in doing projects in communities that might not be able to have school music, and we hope to join with them in some of their projects. Homeschooling is huge in this part of the country, and we have some very good contacts for homeschooling. And actually, scheduling is the challenge because we have 8 ambassadors and many more calls than we can fill at this time. But we're working on getting a schedule and getting everybody trained so that they're comfortable in doing these experiments and working with children in doing these experiments.
That is so exciting. Really amazing. So we've talked a little bit about, talking about it. Let's talk a little bit about how we publicize this program. And JW, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. It's really funny, but video is always the best way to capture a moment. Photos are great, but there's nothing like being there and experiencing it. That's something that we at AGO have really focused a lot of attention on in the last couple of years with our various social media sites, because most of our members are connected to their neighbors and their friends on social media. And we find that that's a great way to get the word out. And I'd like to share a video that I took just a few weeks ago in Philadelphia, and I'm going to share my screen. And once I hit the right button and find it and get us there, I'm not seeing it though.
Do you want me to stop sharing for a second? Will that make it easier, perhaps?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Okay, we'll do that.
And let's see if we can get this to come up. That's always the challenge with Facebook or with Facebook and with Zoom. I'm not seeing it. Let me close this one more time and I'll try again.
Well, it's so interesting because we think, and we have so many wonderful pictures. I know, Don, you've shared a lot of photos with me, as has Sue, but there's nothing like taking a small video clip, and it doesn't have to be long. And JW encouraged me to do this a couple of weeks ago, and I was terrified that I wasn't going to do it properly. But I'll let you talk about this.
You were just a pro, Elizabeth. But let me show you this video. This is from Philadelphia. Oops, why did it do that? Boy, it's not cooperating with me today. Here we go. This is from the Philadelphia chapter's January Jumpstart. And Vince actually ran a little workshop to show people that were in attendance how to set up the Oracle Kids kit. And this lady jumped up at the end to demonstrate it once they'd put together all the pipes and assembled them and had the bellows. And she's actually playing kind of a little fancy arrangement of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Well, after she'd completed, I said, let's do it again. I got to get a video of this. And she was such a trooper, and everybody was great in cooperating. So we took that video, and I can't share the tune, but watch her face. Do you see her face at the end there? And I got to tell you something. That video got 280,000 views. 280,000 views. I literally walked in the room, whipped up my phone, said, could you do that one more time? Hit record, and just posted it to Facebook. And, they always say that kids and kittens always get your attention when you're scrolling through your social media. And, I kind of liken the Orgle Kids kit to the organ, the way we look at cupcakes and cake. You can be 50, 70 years old and eat a cupcake and it makes you feel like a kid again. And the same thing goes with that Orgle Kids kit. It's just the scale of it and the cuteness and nimble, and it brings up the kid in all of us. And it's perfect for social media because of that, kids and kittens. Well, Orgle Kids turns, that doctorate in organ performance into another little kid. So when you have that opportunity, I mean, don't be afraid to capture short videos of the young participants and the old ones too. Get those moments with the little grin. I mean, she was so pleased with herself at the end, and obviously it connected with people because 280,000 people watched that over just a couple of weeks afterwards. And the same goes for Elizabeth's videos. I haven't told Elizabeth this yet, but one of the young people that she recorded during the Pipe Organ Discovery Day in St. Paul has gotten 350,000 views. And she just whipped out her phone again, took about 45 minutes, and we posted it to the AGO Facebook page and also to Instagram. So, we're an audio kind of a world, but there's also that video to it as well, and people like to watch people playing on the organ. We're getting ready to launch a pedals challenge on TikTok. AGO is going to have a new TikTok channel, so we're going to challenge organists to get out there and show their pedal skills. So anyway, I'll conclude with that, but don't be afraid to get out there, capture those moments and share them, because that'll get people excited.
Believe me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Well, that's great. No, I had a wonderful time. And we'll talk about this in a few minutes, visiting the Twin Cities chapter. But Vince, Ryan, talk a little bit about, because you've done this so successfully using the Orgle Kids kit, not only in classrooms, but in a concert setting.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And JW, you were right. She was really thrilled with herself when she played that, and didn't hesitate at all to do it again. So great work on your part to ask her to do that and video it and get the word out. So I really have enjoyed presenting Orgle Kids in two different settings. One is the workshop, specifically mostly with children, really ages kindergarten, elementary, middle, high school, college, and beyond, up to retirement communities, where we divide the audience members into teams. So we typically divide them into 3 teams and each give them a project. They work as teams. They vote for a team leader who discusses the techniques that they used to build their part of the project, and then they discuss it with the rest of the audience, the rest of the students in the class. So that's a few different things happening right there. It's students working as a team, but also electing a leader and teaching their part to the rest of the group. And we do that a few times until the organ is actually completed. And I know Phil will discuss some more STEAM projects, but I've borrowed and really enjoyed some of his wonderful ideas. And I'll just let that hang until he's able to describe them, because they have gone over extremely well, some extra science projects. And the other way that I love to use the Orgle Kids kit is in a recital context. So we may play a full recital with the sanctuary organ, And in between pieces, I'll invite the audience to help build the Orgle Kids kit. To save time, maybe part of it is built ahead of time. And then we invite some audience members to come up and participate. And it goes also very well. I've heard some feedback sometimes, especially with the promoters of concerts in their churches, that we don't want to spend too much time not playing music. But as recently as this past Sunday, we actually had quite a bit of time discussing the Orgle Kids kit, mostly because I had 2 or 3 little children who came up in front of the audience to do the building. So it took them a little extra time. And while they did so, I stalled a little bit and discussed the STEAM implications of the project. And I also mentioned to the audience, I know this has taken some time. Thank you for your patience. And really, to a person, they loved it. They loved actually seeing the children do that project live. So if there's any reticence on your part to do this in a concert setting, if you plan it out well enough, you can cover that dead space. And of course, the ultimate prize is then we get to play the instrument with a couple of pieces in the concert. And again, to a person, they are completely blown away by the sound of this instrument and how it fills a room. So those are 2 really quick ideas about how to use it in a workshop setting and also in a concert.
And you've also created some wonderful compositions, some music for the kid. And
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm going to show everybody later. I'll take everyone over to our website to where we can find some of this. So what I'd like to do really is, and forgive me because Phil Astian, who has been such a strong supporter and creator of Organ Discovery Day, I think he said since 1988, with the Twin Cities chapter, is also part of our panel tonight. And I had the pleasure a week ago last Saturday of going out. I'd heard so much about this Organ Discovery Day. I wanted to see it for myself, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So, Phil, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth, and hello, everyone. I'd like to share a little bit of information about our recent Pipe Organ Discovery Day. And as Elizabeth has mentioned, we've been doing this for many years, and it's targeted at students that know the piano keyboard, and we want to get them more interested in the organ. And hands-on playing is a key part of this. We tend to pair 2 churches in a that are nearby each other so that students can play instruments at both churches over the course of the day. We always include some type of aspect about how the organ works. I have gotten organ builders to give me a variety of organ pipes over the years. We do science experiments. Sometimes we build a working model of the old Roman water-powered pipe organ. We have done all types of things to help people understand just how this instrument works and how the technology evolves over time. This year, building on the theme of collaboration that some of my colleagues have mentioned, we tapped into a homeschool network, and boy, that really helped. We had our youngest audience ever. We had 36 students plus their parents and teachers stick with us for the day. We also did something different this year with our Pipe Organ Discovery Day. We offered the opportunity to register for a morning session, an afternoon, or the whole day. And because kids have many busy schedules, that really worked to our advantage. We had much greater, if you added the attendance of the morning and the afternoon sessions, they far exceeded the whole day. So it's a good way to give people options to learn more. Adults were just as fascinated. I'm going to share a few pictures if I can, Elizabeth, here. So this is a picture of our group at the one of the churches where we had our pipe organ discovery day. You can see a lot of enthusiastic people. Here's scenes of one of our younger players. One of the things that we
Bill,
do.
the screen sharing is not working. We're not seeing it.
Oh, you're not.
No,
Can you see it, anything now?
no.
Oh, hang on a minute.
That's okay. It's very frustrating. Believe me.
You know, I think, do I need to change some settings maybe?
You shouldn't have to. As co-host, you should be able to. Well,
Bill, down at the bottom, there's a green share screen. Can you click on that?
Yeah, I hit that. Okay, now let's try. Okay, thank you. Okay, can we see him now?
I think we're going to. There we go.
Oh, voila, good. Okay, so this is a picture of our large group at the Hendrickson organ in one of the churches in St. Paul. You can see a lot of enthusiastic students here. I'm going to go through a couple other photos here just real quick. Here is our little demonstration pipe organ. This was built as a collaboration between our Twin Cities chapter and two Midwest organ builders. And we've had this instrument for 20 years. You can see it's got a clear plexiglass panel on the front, so you can see the tracker action. It's got some draw or slider stops on the side. And it's just a really good way for students to understand how the organ works. And I'll go through another photo here. This is one of our younger players here playing the Gabriel Ney organ at the University of St. Thomas and St. Paul. And we always have the resident organist at wherever our host site is do a demonstration of the instrument. And one of the things that Jacob, the instructor in the background here, did this year is he got the kids excited about the Zimbelstern. So he says, watch that star up on the top. And so then when he played it and all of a sudden it started going around, they were fascinated. So that was another unique thing for them to play with. And we try to highlight unique features of each instrument as we go through the day. And here's another one of our younger players, and you can see we've got some enthusiastic siblings here watching on. And I'll just share. One other one here. Here's our youngest player of the day. One of the younger siblings of a piano student that attended just had to get into the act and try the organ out for himself. So maybe we'll have another organist out of that person in the future.
That is just, I was so tickled by it. It was so entertaining. It was so wonderful. Well, let's go back. I'd like you, excuse me, forgive me, everyone. I do have a bit of laryngitis, to talk a little bit about the STEAM experiments that you have done. I love the demonstration of the hydraulis. Can everybody see that? The tools and the materials that you need, the bucket, the plastic bottle top, the flexible plastic tubing. And it's really about the force of water, which was that it what the Romans were doing? That was one of the first pipe organs. Bill, I think we may have lost him. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you will find, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, okay. Did you want to talk a little bit about any of these demonstrations or not?
Well, we could talk a little bit about the demonstration that Elizabeth is referring to here. This is an example where we have the kids build a working model of the oldest water-powered organ from the Roman times. And if you look in the guidebook, the image that Elizabeth has on the screen right now in the upper right corner is a Roman coin from the British Museum that has a image etched on it of someone playing the hydraulis. So you can actually see what it looked like in Roman times. We use the power in this model. We have a bucket of water, and we have a plunging device that mirrors what's going on, made out of just a simple bottle cap or bottle top rather, that we use to help push air up under an organ pipe through a flexible tube. And it actually illustrates very well how this hydraulis worked. We also illustrate how the key action worked, because the keys in the Roman times were wooden keys 3 inches wide. And so you couldn't play with your fingers. You had to make fists and play them like you play the batons on a carillon. So it's been really helpful. And anytime you can get the kids next to water, they tend to get excited.
That's very true. Very, very true. Well, this is there's so many great resources, everyone, in this book. We've got demonstrations of sound waves and vibrations. It's a really wonderful, wonderful resource. And I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And I want to see, I thought we had a couple of questions here, but I do not see any. Let me see if there are any comments here. Does anybody have anything that they want to ask our panelists? Stephen Smith commented that Central Iowa AGO partnered with the Des Moines Symphony Academy. There were 400 students there in an Organ Kids build. Stephen, that is awesome. That is just amazing. 400 students, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I remember visiting your chapter not too long ago, and this past spring, and you used it a demonstration of it during a members recital. So we will share all of these good resources with you. What I would like to do, if I may, is give me 1 second here. I want to show you where you can find all of this good information on our website. So let's do that. Okay, here we go. So currently, and our website is just about ready for a beautiful redo. JW's been working very, very hard on it. We currently have all of the information located under the chapters tab. And as you scroll down, there are chapter documents, websites, toolkits, our specialist support teams, and then the STEAM initiative. And so here's where your guidebook can be found. And a lot of other links to programming ideas. Of course, the wonderful Young Person's Guide to the Organ, which you can certainly ask for hard copies of if you'd like to have that to distribute at your pedals, pipes, and pizzas or organ demonstrations. We've got videos. There are 3 fabulous videos that the Twin Cities chapter did with the Minnesota Public Radio. And they're extraordinary. They're wonderful small vignettes of 3 different kinds of people playing the organ. One my favorite is of the woman who's playing the organ at the ballpark. So this is here. And as you scroll down, there's more. Their compositions. I think I mentioned that Vince right here has arranged some wonderful compositions. If you click on them, you'll take them to you. And he's just asked you that if you're going to use them, to please send a photo of how you used it and tag them on his Facebook page. And you've got a link to that as well. Another thing that we've just done is we now have a PipeWorks Steam Flyer. I don't know if is that visible to everybody? So this is a hard copy that is being printed. It should be in our office within the next few weeks. And when you are planning your next demonstrations, your pedals, pipes, and pizza, whatever, you will have actually a lovely hard flyer to share with people. So I just wanted to share that with you where you can find it. We're also probably going to have it under our education tab. JW, Phil, Vincent, Aaron, Don, Sue, any final last words you'd like to share?
I
Okay,
would just like, this is Phil asking, I would just like to just reiterate that, you know, this, you can do this sharing of the STEAM lessons with any instrument. If you've got an Oracle Kids kit, that's great. If you've got a demonstration instrument like our Twin Cities chapter, that's great too. If you just got the organ in the church or a concert hall or wherever you happen to be, it doesn't matter. People can get excited about it, and you know, there's lots of good ways to spread more enthusiasm and energy about the pipe organ. I'll just throw one other example out real quick if I could, and that is that recently in my church in Minneapolis, one of the ministers asked me to do a time for children on the pipe organ using our little demonstration instrument that you saw in one of the photos. And not only were the kids interested in it, but I got more questions from adults afterwards. And now the senior citizens group wants me to do a class for them on the pipe organ.
that's wonderful. We do have a question from Cliff Kaysen. What is the time frame for one to be delivered once the purchase is made? And Aaron, perhaps you want to talk about that.
Yes, met with my builders just last week about this topic. So they build 3 kits at a time every 4 months. They're starting a new build cycle right now. So March, April, May, June. So the end of June, they'll deliver 3 kits. While we do have people in the funnel, nothing's been signed yet. So it's first come, first serve. And then after that, just, you know, October would be the next delivery for the next 3 kits, and so on and so forth.
And you know, another thing I just want to share is that several chapters have gone in together to purchase an Oracle Kids kit. I believe Los Angeles and the Long Beach chapter have gone together. I know that, fingers crossed, San Francisco, San Jose, and Palo Alto are now considering going in together in the Bay Area and purchasing one. So if you have a chapter near you, reach out to them and talk to them and see if they might want to contribute and collaborate with you on this. Sue.
I wanted to mention that Aaron's website, Oracle Kids USA, has a very helpful map of the locations of all the current Oracle Kids. And seeing is believing. If you can get to a chapter that has one, you'll want one.
You will. And chapters have been very nice about loaning them out as well. So that's another opportunity. Well, let me see if we have any other, is there another question here? I think that's about it. Well, I want to thank everyone. Aaron, thank you so much. Phil, Vincent, Sue, JW, and Don. I hope that everybody has found this to be valuable. We will be sending out the link to this, and of course, the link to where you can find all of these resources and this guidebook on our website. We will not be hosting any webinars during the month of March because it's kind of a busy time for everyone. So we will start up again in April, but stay tuned because we'll be promoting some new webinars soon. Thank you again so much, everyone. It's really just been wonderful to have you here with us, and take care.